Just make a fool of yourself. Hey, man, you gotta have fun with life, you know? Have fun. That's what we're here to do, have fun. Today, we're gonna hit the streets, show you what it's like to analyze and look at an investment property. I'm gonna point out some things in the video. You guys are gonna hear bell sound. Those bell sounds indicate every issue that I notice with my magic eyes with the property. So we're gonna hit the streets, stay tuned. We'll be back at the end of the video to analyze everything that we saw. Okay, so just a little car talk while we're on the road to this property here. So besides the financials, right? Obviously, when you're looking at a deal, the financials breaking down the cash flows, the income, the expenses, right? Besides looking at that, you wanna physically look at the property, right? You wanna physically look at the property, see if there's any repair issues, right? See if there's anything you could do to maximize the value of the property, right? Because a lot of people just go in looking at a house or an investment property and see, you know, they just look at the numbers and that's all. But sometimes there's other value in the property that you have to be willing to look at, right? And some of that is expansion. You know, can you add anything on to the property? Can you do anything to increase value of the property, right? Because the good thing about investing in real estate is that you not only can get the cash flow from renting out the units, but also appreciation, right? Appreciation is a big key when it comes to investing in real estate, and that's like the icing on the cake. Also, before I forget, right? Number one thing is, you know, why we want to come look at the property is the location, right? Because that's always number one in real estate, right? Right? Is location. So don't forget that. If you're in a
turn left on Lehigh Street.
If you're in a bad location, but got good cash flow, you know, question.
In half a mile, turn left onto T704 South Walnut Street.
Don't mind GPS, but location is always number one, right? We don't want to never sacrifice location for profits or cash flow, because it can end up becoming trouble when it needs to be sold, right? Or when you wanna liquidate, right? So you don't want to buy something that you can't get rid of. So keep that in mind. So we're about to pull up to the property, and first thing I'm looking at is the street. You know, how's the street looking? It's a fairly decent street, you know.
Your destination is on the right.
Walk with me real quick. Let's see, 247. Let's find it. Siding right here. So here's a special siding goes from here.
So this is all the bottom half here.
Yeah. It's like on the bottom half. I mean,
Still here too? That's it.
Yep, that's all.
But then it's the whole thing right here.
Oh, yeah. So this is interesting. Exactly. It got foundation. Like, I think this would be a cool, like, outside space, you know? Pretty clever. We'll look when we get to the basement. Let's see what we got here. Electric panel. All these little sub panels.
All this wiring.
So there's two oil tanks. So
Were they both for the house?
we'll have to see what's in the other one first. It might be for the floral shop and the house.
Okay.
So these two tanks might be for
Both this and the next one.
right, and this is the furnace. So we have one furnace, but we do have two oil tanks. And then your hot water, which is electric, right? Access to the rear. Back here, so
Oh, look.
good shape.
I don't see no leaks. Oh, that's the only leak. Let's go upstairs. I wonder if the bathroom's right there.
Yeah, do have evidence of a leak here.
I want to go upstairs before we go to the floral shop.
There's the floral shop. We got stand-up washer and dryer in the unit, the kitchen. Proceed to the second floor.
In the bathroom? Did you open this or no?
No, I didn't.
Wow, can't you tell me what that?
Oh no, here's another bathroom. Yeah.
She said it's a half one.
All the windows are pretty good.
So is the flooring,
Yeah.
the walls and the ceilings. It just literally needs cosmetic.
Bathroom rental. Good. It's functional now. Any leaks in here? No. Always checking the closets as well. As you can see, there's some drywall damage here. If you're not looking at that closet, you wouldn't have known. Whoa.
does need a lot of work, but it,
Here's a walk-in freezer. Wonder how old the pizza is. Wonder how old the pizza is.
well, that's what I want to look for upstairs. What is this? Oh, it has different properties. See, that's so different. How do we see on top of here?
Some water dripping from this pipe here. I don't know. So this unit has their own heater. Yeah, electric panel box, pretty outdated.
Is this supposed to be the hot water here? Because this looks really outdated.
Let's see.
Is there a date on that?
No, not Ruckus C.
Ooh, look at this.
Welcome. C made it back. How many bells did you hear? I'm sure you heard a lot because there quite was a lot. The property needed quite a lot of work. But we're going to review quickly what we saw, right? So first thing what we did when we got to the property was we walked the exterior. And first thing we saw was the asbestos siding. Now, asbestos siding, asbestos is an environmental hazard. It can cause, I'm not going to say it, it can cause the C word, right? And it's best to, if it's not damaged or has not been mistreated, you can actually leave the asbestos siding in place. You don't necessarily have to remove the asbestos siding, but if it's damaged, if it's cracked, in areas that if it's missing, that like we saw in the video as well, you definitely probably want to consult with a specialist about asbestos and have your asbestos siding removed, right? But there is some houses that I've seen with asbestos siding that it isn't damaged. It's actually in great condition, if you want to say that. And it, the people still have it, and it's everything there hasn't been any issues, right? So secondly, we saw peeling and chip paint. That's actually a FHA issue. If you run into any peeling and chip paint at a property, FHA is going to require you to have that scraped and painted. So that was number 2 that we saw. Number 3 and 4 was the damaged and missing siding. Definitely have that repaired, replaced. So you can have have it replaced with some nice siding like this over here. So if you have some damaged siding, it's definitely good to have that replaced. What else did we see? Number 5, we saw some damaged cement, the driveway. It was cracked, it was damaged. So definitely driveway should be repaved with some cement. That way you have a nice driveway there. Number 6, which was my favorite part about this property, was this greenhouse. This greenhouse has so much potential, as you saw in the video. Nice big greenhouse. It did have electric. It did have plumbing pipes for water, but it did need a lot of work. So if renovated properly, that greenhouse can be actually turned into a nice, outdoor area where you can potentially rent that out to event hosters, and potentially turn that into something that is an additional moneymaker. So I thought that that had a lot of potential there. What else did we see? We saw the oil tanks, right? The oil tanks, they didn't necessarily maybe had any issues, but oil tanks can leak. They can rust out. So I didn't notice any issue there. You had the old furnace. The old furnaces. The old furnace in the first unit definitely was old. That first unit controlled the floral shop and the home, actually, right? So that furnace was functioning, but definitely need to be replaced due to its age. What else did we see? We saw the electric panel boxes. The the electric panel boxes were old. You definitely want to replace those to new updated panel boxes, to something like this right here. These electric panel boxes are much newer and are much more safer. So we also saw drywall repair. The property, if you're not careful, you don't check your closets, you will run into maybe a surprise there. So when I checked into the closet, we did see some issue that with the drywall where it needed repair. You don't want to walk around. You don't want to have a hole in your walls, right? So definitely fix that with some drywall. Very easy fix. We also saw some missing drywall in the room. There was actually no drywall at all. So we saw that. We saw some paneling, some wood paneling, that old 50s, 60s, wherever that paneling came from. We saw some old paneling there. I mean, hey, that might be your cup of tea, but you can paint over that, make it white, make it look a little nicer. But in my opinion, what I would do is have that paneling replaced with some drywall. Drywall makes it nice and white and looks really good. What else did we see at that property? Man, there was so much. I don't probably want to go over it all, but I mean, you saw in the video some things that I did point out there. I just want to highlight some of them now. I'm just trying to think what else off the top of the mind that I did see in the video that oh yes, when you saw me walking around and checking all the windows, right? So when you're at a property, you definitely want to check every window possible, because they might need to be replaced. And at that particular property, all the windows were very good. They were vinyl windows. They seemed to be pretty new. Also, when I was in the basement, we did check the water heaters. When you're down in the property, you're looking in the basement, you want to check definitely the heating source, right? So we saw that with the oil tanks. We saw the oil furnace, like the age of your water heaters. They might need to be replaced. But those ones in that particular video, they actually look pretty good. And so, and your water heaters could be electric, it can be a gas water heater. There's all kind of water heaters today. There's tankless water heaters. There's tons more. I am going to be going out and doing more videos like this, because every property has different features. So it's good to point out just different issues, just to make you much better in what you're looking for. When you're looking at investing in real estate, you can get more familiar with looking at at issues with the property. Always look at the windows, always check the heating sources, always check the exterior of the property, look in your closets. Oh yes, one thing we did see was the water stain, right? We did have proof of a water stain. We have proof of a water stain right here, as you can see. We noticed that. That could have been dripping, obviously, probably from the second floor from somewhere. So any proof of water stains is actually, you definitely want to get that checked. Until you become well vetted, invest in real estate, it's always best to have a home inspection done. It might cost you an additional, $500 to $1,000, but until you become savvy, until you become vetted, until you become proven, and you've owned a couple units, it's always best to get an inspection done, so you can be aware of your problems and issues, because it can affect your cash flow. It's not good to be having some cash flow, but then, every month, the building's costing you, $2,000-3,000 in repairs, and your income's only, $2,000-2,500. So, if repairs are costing you more than your cash flow, that's not good. So you always want to be alert of your issues, right? So that's what this video mainly was for you guys to check out, to get a feel of what to look for in investment properties when you're looking around and checking them out. In the words of the late great Tupac, y'all, it's checkout time. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned. A lot more info videos to come. Thanks for checking out the red lights on real estate. Peace.